Welcome back to Huma Centric. Today's human is Tom Adams. Tom is a former client of mine and now a lifelong friend. Tom came to me at a very, very interesting point in his life. We worked on not just his physique, but we worked on his business as well. And I am absolutely certain when I say that the work that Tom and I did together is undoubtedly one of my proudest pieces of work that I've done in the last 15 years. And yeah, it was a real journey. On this podcast, Tom talks about all the things that we did and all the changes that we made, specifically to his mindset. I knew that Tom was capable of building the kind of business that he has today, and in short, Tom wasn't, right. And Tom said to me one day on a mentoring call, "I don't think this is for me. I don't think I can do this." And I knew that wasn't true. We worked hard on changing pretty much everything he did, everything his business stood for. We took his business from being passive to being purposeful. And amidst all that, Tom has grown into an unbelievable high level athlete. And he delivers all of that today to his clients in the Human Performance Academy that we built together. And this podcast is just a great chat. It's a full circle moment for me. And Tom talks about lots of very, very interesting things. His severe crippling health anxiety. He talks about his body dysmorphia as a child from the ages of as low as 8, 9, and 10, which is just crazy to me. And we dive into some other bits as well, like the crazy trip he had in Thailand, which kicked off a lot of his health anxiety. And then we go through some of the changes that he made to get to where he is today. And I think that's really important because there's going to be a lot of things in there that a lot of people listening to this can take from. Because if Tom can go from where he was to where he is today by controlling his mind before he controlled his body, then I think a lot of people will tap into that and take positives from it and apply them to their own life. So, hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Feel free to drop a like and a comment underneath. And if you are not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel because it does help. Nice one. Enjoy. I want to read you something. Okay, this might take a minute.
Yeah,
All right, but
really take me back in time, this, isn't it?
I think this sums up very well what we are going to talk about today. So you and I obviously we worked together, and we worked on your physique, your healthy fitness, and your business,
Yeah.
right? And that is why you're here today, to talk about the Human Performance Academy. Before I read this, I want to say that this is a full circle moment for me, because you are undoubtedly one of, not to objectify it at all, but what we did together is one of my proudest pieces of work in the last 15 years, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that as in like it was my work. I mean that as in like I'm just happy to be a part of what we did together, right? Yeah. And you know, I'm your biggest fan. I reply to all your stories. I like all your posts. I'm all over you, right? I pulled something off your Instagram, so here goes. Right, this is pretty long. Here is a look into my fitness journey and how I overcame anxiety, shame, and guilt, and how I used to feel about my body. I've spent my entire adult life chasing happiness through only how I looked. To me, fitness meant only aesthetics. I believed the leaner I got, the happier and more confident I would feel. Spoiler, that wasn't the case. It only created an obsession I couldn't escape. No matter how on it I was, I never felt good enough, and it knocked my confidence. I even felt anxious about taking my top off in public and even around my own family, because in my head, I trained, but I didn't look the part. That shame started affecting other areas of my life. I'd wake up every day feeling tired, uninspired, thinking I'll feel better once I look better. The obsession around my body contributed towards developing crippling health anxiety. I soon fell out of love with training and took 10 steps backwards. It was at this point I knew something had to change. That was when I hired a coach for myself. what we were just saying. I'm a big believer in that we all need structure, support, and accountability to succeed. Even as a coach myself, I need support, I need structure, and I needed something that I could create easily. But the accountability and the emotional support, that's what I was missing. The biggest change wasn't in my physique, it was in my head. So going on this journey unlocked a whole new identity for me. And we always say, don't we? Results are about behavior change, but behavior change is about identity change before anything else. I am no longer the guy who stop-starts on goals. I see them through. I now understand that the glory lies in the work you do not want to do. It's about being consistently good, not occasionally great. And if a fitness goal or a business idea scares me, then it's good, not bad. I don't let problems become excuses. Look for solutions. I look for solutions, and I get the work done anyway. This mindset now drives every area of my life, and it has also created a lot of the core values inside the Human Performance Academy, which is Tom's business, which we created. So,
it's a heavy post now, isn't it?
Yes, there's a little bit more. So I do want to finish it because it is important.
Yeah.
Aesthetics are no longer the only reason why I do what I do. And I say only, and I highlight only because there's a bit of an irony that we will come back to. My goals are now to be fit, healthy, athletic, and in good shape year round, feeling ready for any challenge put in front of me. This feels far more powerful and gives me purpose and fire to train consistently. As a result, I live life with more balance, meaning I have better relationships with friends as well as family, leaving me feeling like I'm performing at my best both inside and outside of the gym. Okay, when you stop only chasing how you look in the mirror and focus on building a routine and an environment that makes you feel proud, confident, and capable of any challenge, everything changes. Okay, so like I said, there's a little bit of an irony there, because in the midst of all that and helping you realize that, we were also able to get you into that shape that you had so long been looking for. And I think it's that important that people know that when you say stuff like that, you're not saying don't want to be in good shape.
I think,
You're saying go about it the right way. So what I want to ask you is, what was the key factor about that mental change specifically that we worked on that paved the way to see you sitting here now as you were essentially identifying as a different person to the one that first started in this industry however many years ago? So what was the trick?
I think the biggest change that happened was body dysmorphia is something I've had my whole life. You know, I grew up in Spain. For those that don't know, moved to Spain when I was 6. So every summer was spent around the pool. It's obviously 30, 35 degrees. Everyone's got their tops off, but I was always hypercritical of my own body, even from the ages of 9 and 10, when you just shouldn't be at that age, should you?
Where did that come from? Is that pressure?
I don't know. External? I don't know. I think because in our friendship group there might have been chubbier kids, and the ones that weren't chubbier I'd pick on those chubbier kids and call them fat and call them. And you're looking at your own body and you're like, it's a matter of time before they start doing this to me. And then I think we all want to be popular and part of the tribe as we're growing up, and even as adults as well. But it's and that, I don't know, that just affected me, and I just carried that into adult in life as well. And obviously started going to the gym around 16, 17, and although I was in pretty good shape, but I just didn't feel like it. But it's one of those classic ones where you look back at photos and you can see that you were in good shape, but living in that moment, never felt like it.
Yeah.
And you touched on there. I touched on that post. Body dysmorphia soon turned into health anxiety, and health anxiety. I was at a point where I would literally call my mum up every day, crying down the phone, telling her I'm dying, because I would have all these sensations, and my body was constantly in a state of stress from the anxiety, where even training, I would go dizzy and vision would start blurring, and then I fell out of love of training because I was training's making it worse. So then I just stopped training, and then stopping training affected my body dysmorphia even more, and then it just got to a point where in my adulting life I was constantly telling myself, this is the year. Every January I'd be like, this is the year I get in great shape. But I'd never have that coaching. I don't need a coach. I am a coach. I'd follow that classic what people say. Why have you got a coach? You don't need a coach. You're a coach yourself. So so yeah, every year I try and get into shape, but I think everybody, like I said in that post, needs structure, support, and accountability. Whether you're a coach or not,
Yeah.
everybody has it. I mean, I'm 8 years now into the coaching industry, and I've still got a coach. Do you know what I mean? So, I think everybody needs that level of accountability. And what we did, obviously, we set that goal of a photo shoot. We had 6 months to do it, but along that way, like, yeah, I think what your superpower is as a coach, like, there's so much more to training and working with a coach than just the training and nutrition. Like the mindset and the psychological, the way you just like, every time I bring a problem to you, which would be my normal stumbling block, you would like twist it and give me the right feedback that would light my fire.
I like that. I like the twisting.
It's like you'd be like, you'd say to me like, how do you expect to coach people when they get to this point if you can't even get past this point? I remember that. So you said that to me once, and I was like, so true. And then that classic talkers talk, winners win. That just flicked something to me because I'd always been that talker. Yeah. And like I say, every year I'd say I'm getting into great shape this summer. Talk it, but never actually do it. Yeah. And then working with yourself, that's when like it transformed everything.
Yeah, that mindset switch of being a solution based thinker rather than a problem based thinker, right? Like if you the problems exist, they're just, to me, they are just opportunities, right, to find the solution. But you've just got to be, I think you've got to identify as that, like, because I think sometimes people aren't necessarily aware that they are a problem thinker. And you definitely have to train that within yourself. And that's something we did a lot together. You were definitely, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, but you were definitely a problem thinker when we first started.
I catastrophize everything, like,
and that comes from the health anxiety.
Right? That comes from health anxiety and body dysmorphia. Because health anxiety is all about catastrophe. Like, I literally would be like thinking I've got a headache, would be like brain tumor. I've got a brain tumor. I need a head scan. I'd spend hours in A&E, like demanding a head scan, and sometimes even like.
Wow, can I just stop you there? Really, you would actually go to A&E and demand that?
A&E knew me by my first name.
Wow.
Chester Hospital, like, like I said, I'd just be in floods of tears. My mum, and I'd be like getting blood tests, and blood tests would come back fine. She'd be like, "Listen, like, your blood is the Bible to your body. If nothing's showing up in a blood test, you're probably fine." Like, but I'd be in A&E with headaches, and I've had brain scans. I've had colonoscopies. Because at one point I thought I had a...
just fancy something up.
At one point I thought I had... as soon as I had the brain scan and that was clear, I was like, no, I'm still dying. Because that's what health anxiety is. Like, you're just constantly in a state of worried about your health. So then I was like, bowel cancer was the next thing. And I'd eat stuff like red peppers, and obviously...
Is that because your digestion was off? Because you were so anxious?
Stressed.
Doesn't it prove how important the autonomic nervous system is?
Stress, how stress
between
links
the
to...
sympathetic and the parasympathetic of the autonomic nervous system. Most problems that people have are nervous system based, and they can be not fixed, but they can absolutely be worked on with focus on understanding the differences between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, and why you are in each of them, and when is the wrong time to be in each of them. You were spending most of your time where you should have been parasympathetic. You were in sympathetic, and that's why you couldn't digest food. That's why you couldn't train, because you were already at that point, like where there was the point of no return, right?
Yeah, like as soon as I wake up, mate, I'd be like looking in the mirror, black bags under my eyes, and I'd be like dying, bodies ran down. Yeah. And like once I got through all these tests, I was like, I think every time you got a test, you felt relief for a day or two.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, because the digestive systems and central nervous system so fried, and what's that called? When you've got IBS, isn't it? Yeah. You obviously then get IBS, and then your cyst, and then you're like, oh, bowel cancer as well. So, like even colonoscopies. Like I went through it all. I was obviously manager. I had to quit coaching because of it, because I would go into sessions and I couldn't coach people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just had to stop my business, and then obviously took like 3-4 months out just because I had like a bit of money put aside, and just obviously was so focused on my health, couldn't work. Then I got into management at JD, went up the ladder there, got to general manager, and then I had health insurance. Fuck me, did I rinse that? Every problem, because then you get like answers straight away. You can ring up on health insurance. So
even though you felt like you were making progress, you were still falling back on your compulsive thought processes.
Because I'd talk to people like, I'd be cleaning down treadmills with another PT, and she'd be telling me how like so and so in her family's got bowel cancer, and I'd be like, "Fuck," that would trigger me. Then I'd be like thinking about myself again. I have to go back to the office and like shut the door and like do these breathing techniques to, like you say, calm the nervous system down. And yeah, and then I'd be like on the phone straight away to my health insurance. Oh, this is wrong with me, and they'd be like, okay, we'll get you booked in at Nutfield and do this,
Oh
do
my
that.
God. I'd hate to see what your insurance premiums are now
Yeah,
if you go for when
yeah.
you go for life insurance when you buy your house.
Be
Mate,
extreme, but
you know what this shows, and again, this is what we just talked about, the whole twisting thing, right? If there's anybody listening to this who is in a similar position, it might not even be about health anxiety, it might be about other anxious thoughts, right? What you need to understand is that is just one example of how powerful the brain is, right? The brain is linked to the nervous system, of course, right? This just stems from the brain. Your brain had the ability, your nervous system had the ability to produce an outcome like that. That's, to me, in my solution-based way of thinking, annoyingly positive sometimes. Is like, all I think about there is, and I think this is one of the ways that we worked on it together, was that imagine what it could do the other way.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if you can be that powerful and you have that little control over it, you can make the switch of gaining control over it and using that power to your advantage rather than your disadvantage. And ultimately, that's what you're talking about, going through that, isn't
I
it?
think you've also got to go to that place on the flip side as well. Like when it comes to training intensity, for example, one of the biggest killers when it comes to progression for people is they might go to the gym 5 days a week, but they're just not training hard enough because they're scared to push themselves to that limit. They're scared to go up in weights. They're scared to get a little bit out of breath in a workout, in a HIIT workout or a high rocks workout. And it's like once you get there, like down a track session, for example, and you're actually training your VO2 max, like you're in zone 4, zone 5 threshold, and you're actually like pumping around this track and like on your knees at the end of your interval in your recovery phase, like people are scared to hit that phase. But the more you do it, the more it becomes the normal. And then when it comes to your race, like your 10K, your half marathon, your high rocks, that should feel like you should be used to that feeling. But not enough people train hard enough. And then they go into the race and then all of a sudden they're out of breath after the ski or the second run or I don't know 6K into their half marathon and they panic. And that's when they're just like comes down over the course of their race. But it's just something like you train, like you say, you train your brain to, and you train your body, just like you train a muscle to grow and you train to get into great shape. Your brain as well as your heart, you train it all. You know. And
one thing I want to say is that training isn't therapy, right? Therapy is therapy, and it's really important that people don't just rely on training. One of the things that I know you did alongside all the work we did the mental work together as well, because we were doing at least a 1 hour call a week, weren't we? Sometimes we were doing 2, where we sit and solve the problems and we would go through the mental stuff, and it was about changing your identity so that you could become the person who could facilitate that, right? But I want people to know that you did the mental work as well as the physical work. Like you'd done the personal development stuff. You've done the internal conversation, the internal monologue and dialogue. You've practiced having the right conversations. You've used the logical approach to that internal. You've also one of the things when I look at your life from the outside is that I know you and Izzy have a great relationship, right? And you are somebody who really understands the power of asking for help.
That's something I got from working with yourself. Like something like before, I really believe in coaching. I know you do as well, and that's all because of my experiences. But you talk about therapy, like during health anxiety, I also had a health anxiety therapist, and it was like seeing him on a weekly basis was also, like you say, because you go into this room and you know that he doesn't know you or that she doesn't know you, whoever your therapist might be, and they are just gonna like pick apart your brain because they're trained to do that, and that obviously helps. And they pull up things that you don't realize. It's just raising that self-awareness, which is something we did together as well. Like I come out of coaching with you, like so much more self-awareness,
clarity.
It's just like being in the moment, and sometimes just sitting back. Something happens, and as humans we want to react straight away because like something that's like ADHD and stuff, and people's thoughts are just going 100 miles an hour, and that's what mine were doing during health anxiety. A lot of my work in therapy was calm down, just process this thought, and that's what I do now, and I coach people with it now as well. It's like shit happens in life. You'll always get served lemons, but you're only as good as your next decision, you know? So
that's one of my favorite sayings.
You're only as good as your next move, as you would say.
That's definitely something I'll have drilled it, like we'll have drilled over and over. You are only as good as the next decision. That's so correct, mate.
Because things happen in life. Do you know what I mean? We can't help what happens to us, but we can control how we react to that situation.
Of course, yeah. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you if bad stuff does happen to you as well, like, or bad situations arise in your life, or you feel those anxious thoughts. It doesn't mean that there's anything. You're not a bad person for that happening in your life, right? That's another thing that people need to understand. It's not part of your it's part of your current position, but it's not part of your identity. But if you make it part of your identity, then you're more likely to be sitting in that victim mode and not doing anything about it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do. Like, it always happens to me and all this, and like you say, like they feel victimized.
Yeah.
Whereas like I say, you can't control what's happened, but you do control how you react to it. Do you know what I mean? So it's
responsibility is power.
Yeah, it's literally, and that's another thing, like helping people understand that, because it's just like, okay, we'll just calm down, think about it, don't react to that situation straight away. Like, let's process it, and then let's make a reaction off the basis of that. Do you know what I mean? So because people will always have bad shit happen to them, but
yeah. You're not going to go through life without it, are you?
No, absolutely not. Like, people just sometimes Instagram and social media just paints the pretty picture. Yeah, no one really puts the bad stuff up there, you know.
Yeah.
And that's can trigger people as well when it does happen to them.
Yeah, definitely. Mate, I want to take you back to something that you and I have never discussed properly, right? And the reason why I want to take you back to it is because when we were deciding what we wanted your branding to be, your message, when we were building your encyclopedia of the Human Performance Academy, right? You thought we were going to do sales stuff and funnels and going to smash these posts on Instagram, and I said to you, we're going to go all the way back here. We're just going to discover who you are. And what we did was I asked you about big moments in your life that you feel like have shaped you as a person and all this kind of other stuff, and I just wanted to get to know you on a deeper level. You told me about something happened whilst you were traveling, right? Where you had a dodgy trip, right? And we've all had them, mate. Don't worry. You're definitely not alone there. But
Thailand, man.
I've had a few myself, to be honest. But that one affected you particularly in a big way, didn't it? Right? And we touched on it a little bit, but then you said the thing which got me was that you then said from that incident where you had that bad trip in Thailand, you then became more interested in how humans worked, the body, performance, and this, that, and the other. And then I went away for a week, I think, and I came back to you and I said, I think I've got it, right? It's the Human Performance Academy. That's what we're going to do, right? And of course, because Izzy is brilliant at what she does, she came up with the class branding. So we called your business the Human Performance Academy. And we talked about the main program that you offer, which is now the Hybrid Evolution program. And we talked about why you wanted to take people on an evolution, and the word evolution was linked back to that moment, right? So talk to me about that. What happened? Because I don't actually know what happened, so tell me what happened.
So it's just like a bad shroom shake, as you get, and
mushrooms.
Yeah, and obviously they can go one or two ways. You can sit back, relax, and have a great time and be high, or you panic mode. And they always say, like, smash a load of orange juice down to get out of it.
Sugar.
And sugar is what you need, isn't it? And my trip went bad. At the start it was decent, you know, like everything just comes alive, especially in Thailand where there's just so much going on in the jungles. Like, you go to the bathroom and like the bathroom wall was alive, and you're like, wow. It's like a scene out of
Stroking the fairy wall.
Getting to the Greek, is it? It says, stroking the wall, like that. But then as the night went on, my trip went bad, and like lying down, looking at the moon, like I saw like the devil's face and demons, and then obviously the panic came in, and then it's kind of what triggered my health anxiety to a degree.
That was going to be my next question. So where was this in the timeline of events in health anxiety and body dysmorphia and starting coaching and what age? Where does that link in?
I was 21 at the time, obviously traveling around Asia, and then went on to Australia for 2.5 years, which is where I was already a PT qualified through a PT academy back home, but never did anything with it. And obviously to stay in Australia, after my 2-year visa, I did a 9-month student visa studying PT again, basically.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of did it, like going to class and stuff like that. So, but yeah, like the shroom experience triggered like a bit of health anxiety in there, I think.
Yeah.
Because I thought I was dying to a degree.
Yeah,
like you start having a panic attack, you think you're gonna die. But yeah, this at the age of 21, obviously, then went on to Australia. But then actually, when I came back to England, I did gummies as well, and that really got really bad that night. Like again, I did it again.
Mushroom gummies or weed
THC,
gummies?
THC,
yeah, weed gummies,
and it's one of those where you take them, 20 minutes, nothing happens. You're like, okay,
I'll have another one.
It's like,
we've all been there.
They only give you a pack of 5, you know what I mean? And there's a group, me and this other lad, Josh,
Rubbish
if you watch
these.
this, yeah, Josh, if you watch this, he'll remember well. When there was like one left, I went, fuck it, we'll half it. So I had 2.5, and you only meant to have one.
Yeah.
So then this surge came on.
Boom.
And yeah, like I went, I gotta get out. So I went out, heart was pounding, like, fuck, I was in threshold, mate, standing still, you know? 160
Felt like you're at the Oval doing on your fifth lap.
Back there. And then I was walking down the road, and like, yeah, it felt like I was on a treadmill, but yeah, I had a really bad trip, mate. And I was literally walking down Hall High Street in Chester, shouting over the road at people 10 o'clock, and like, help me, I'm dying. All this, and like this old man walked past me, and Izzy's high as well, but she's trying to calm me down at the same time. And,
Izzy's trying to enjoy it, and you're ruining the night, basically.
I think I made her sober through how bad I was. You know what I mean? And yeah, I was like, an old man walked past us, and I went, help me, I'm dying. He goes, why are you dying? I was like, I've taken drugs, and he goes, you idiot, and carried on walking. But yeah, like after that, that's when I woke up the next. It was actually like three weeks later, but then. That's when obviously I was coach at the time, and that's when health anxiety really went bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the first instance, what I found from it, obviously, like coming out the other side and then working with yourself, is like you say, is how the mind works, how powerful the mind can be, and like the mind has the power to make you believe things that aren't real to a degree as well.
Both positively and negatively.
Yeah.
You're talking about the negative, but what I meant before was like, you know, if you look at like professional athletes, high level, you know, McGregor talks a lot about how he used to drive around in like a 500-pound Citroen Saxo, and he'd be closing his eyes and pretending it was a Lamborghini, and like the power of visualization, like the mind, we know from as a fact that the mind doesn't know the difference
Manifestation.
between the mind doesn't know the difference between stuff that we visualize in a detailed manner and get a feeling from it compared to it actually happening in real life. It thinks it's the same, right?
Yeah, like you think a car's a car at the end of the day, isn't it? But it's how you think about that car is how it's going to make you feel as well. So yeah, it comes down to like I said, manifestation and believing you're going to do it.
Yeah,
like some of the biggest athletes in the world go into a race saying, I'm going to win this race. And then they'll go on to win it because they believe it so hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't always happen. Like if you like follow High Rocks and you see Hunter McIntyre, I don't know if you know who that is, but he goes into every race, World Championship, going, I'm going to smoke everyone on the Bolt pony, on the best, and then he'll come out humbled and finish 4th. But a lot of the time, like you can believe something so much that you almost wish it into existence.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's
do
the positive.
believe that.
Yeah, that's the positive aspect of it. Yeah. And yeah, like that's a big aspect of what I do now. It's like first thing I get people when they sign up with me, it's like, okay, you want to achieve these goals, describe the actions of the person and the identity like you spoke about of the person that has those goals already, and then they get them to list all these actions and habits of the identity of the person they want to become, and then it's like I hold them to that word then, because I only want to work with people that are willing to make that identity change and like put in the hard work. And it's like
that's something we did, wasn't it?
I remember when you said
talked to you about like you know, I would quote you on stuff. That's why we went straight back at the start of our thing up to the identity processes, whereby like you know, lots of people I've had people start mentoring. I don't do mentoring anymore. It's probably one of these. This is probably one of the reasons why. But I've had people start mentoring, and I think they think I'm just gonna plug in an Instagram funnel, and you know, show them how to create content that helps people trust you and convert, and then they're gonna all of a sudden get 15 calls a week booked into the diary, and they're going to have a 60, 70 person coaching business. And it's like, what?
Yeah, you can get that, but they're not your people. Like one of the things that we created with the HPA, and I wanted from this get go was to work with people I wanted to work with. Like I'm not interested in working with 100 clients. Like I think that's a headache.
Your community is unreal.
Yeah,
I love all your community
like,
content.
They're my people. They're literally like different versions of me, and that's who I want to attract. And through the content I post, and again, I've worked with yourself, but with working with you was more mindset. Like you say, we jump on an hour call. We wouldn't even talk about business. We just talk about me and my. It's almost like therapy.
We got your business to a point where somebody like Joe, for example, I want to give him credit on here because you guys have done a lot of good work together. For somebody like that to come in, but my main thing with the fitness business space is that everybody's missing what we did together before they go into these mentorships that are saying to them, send 50 DMs a week, do this, do that. You chose a good one that doesn't. You chose a good one, in Joe, and the lads that don't do that. But you need you need to understand the foundations of your own business, and the most important thing is that you really fucking need to enjoy being there.
Exactly.
You really need to enjoy being. One of the things that was so apparent to me, you came in and your branding was like train to gain, and I was like, mate, that is fucking crap. You know what I mean? Like, and then sometimes you need honesty, and I said that to me is somebody who doesn't really want to be a coach, and they just did it because it was the first thing that came to their head when they left school. It's like, you've got to build something that is in every fiber of your being. Otherwise, in this industry now, you will be swallowed up, and then you'll be one of those statistics, or you'll be one of those people that is sitting in the pub saying, shit, that personal training, there's just too many PTs, and it's like, there's not enough good PTs. Actually,
absolutely not. It's an oversaturated industry, but there is a lot of shit coaches out there, but fuck me, there's some world beaters out there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, coaching should be something that changes your life, I think. And like, you'll go through life and you'll meet people that have such an impact that you'll just remember them forever. And like I say, like, but going back to earlier about not everything happens for a reason, but like everything to a degree, like every decision you make will impact how your life goes. And like bringing you into my business as well as my just my life in general is like, I will always be grateful for that, because it had such an impact.
Yeah, you've got to be coachable to be coached, though.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. Like you said there, you know, I've coached a lot of people who aren't willing to come in and do the identity work, and it's like, you're just not going to get results. Like, you're not the person you need to be to get the outcomes that you are desiring. And you have to be honest with people, and that's where the value of coaching lies as well. You know, people for me, like, if someone goes to work and they slog their arse off all day and they get paid at the end of the month and they choose to give me that money, I am like, that is the coolest fucking thing that you could possibly imagine. Like, imagine somebody trusting you that much. We're in a time that we are, and it's like, you got to give them. I said this on the last podcast with Nath. The biggest non-tangible thing outside of love you can give somebody is trust. And the second somebody gives you trust, you've got to give them belief in return as an exchange, right? And that's what you're saying there. You've got to be willing to trust somebody, and then once you get that belief back, and that's what coaching is, right? And that's what we spoke about, and that's why I'm so passionate about people understanding, coaches understanding that, and clients who are choosing a coach as well, but coaches understanding that you've got to create your own environment that you are happy to stay in. Like, I still do things now that I did 10 years ago in coaching, and I still do them every day. Not a lot, obviously, we all evolve and adapt, but there is still some stuff that I use today that I was so sure of from the start. And that's because I had good people around me when I started, and they had a big positive impact on my life as well. But yeah, it's that I think, as I say, that's why I think one of my proudest pieces of work is working with you, because what you built with the Human Performance Academy, it is you, isn't it? Like, it is the like statistical online version of what you believe in at your core, right?
Yeah, it's just like we broke it down, didn't we? Like the three different parts of it, like the human, the performance, the academy. Like the human is the individual, the person, the identity, and how we want to transform that identity. Performance is because we prioritize performance and how you feel as an athlete more than we do the aesthetics. But don't get me wrong, like going back to at the start of this when we spoke about aesthetics, like everybody wants to look better. Everybody wants to feel good in their own skin.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
but you got to do it the right way.
I think it's just normal.
The process has got to come before the progress, and that's what people get wrong. And that's what you were getting wrong. You were progress, not process.
Do this and you'll get there. Do you know what I mean? Like, the aesthetics are the byproduct to the high performance and the feeling great. Because if you focus on what's great about performance goals is if you focus on got a half marathon. Okay, I need to do all this work to be able to run this time, or a high rocks or whatever. But by doing that work, not only are you getting fitter and faster, ready for your race, but you're also transforming your body at the same time. So the aesthetics come with the performance, and then you've got the academy, which is the community, and how much I value every single one of my clients, and I want to. I create something that brings them all together. Like when we go and do a high rocks like Glasgow last week, going up with 7 clients, all staying in the same house, all cheering each other on in their races, and then all just going back to our lives. Like we've got another one in Malaga in 4 weeks, and we've got Cardiff. I do community like meetups, so I'll coach the whole group and put a workout on for them. We do run clubs. It's just amazing to bring all these like-minded people together, and that's what I wanted to do with the HPA. Because like I said, I'm not interested in having 100 clients. You can't do that with 100 clients. Do you know what I mean? But you can do it with a small knit of like 30, 40 people, and it's about creating a culture and an environment where people thrive. Because I do think you are a product of your environment, and if I can get like my closest friends now are all ex-clients, literally all my best mates now are ex-client or still clients or ex-clients, and we hang out, we go for runs, we do all these races together. Like my best mate Brucey, he started as a stranger 3 years ago, 22 stone, and like the physical transformation that he went through, but like his life, the way he's transformed his life, that guy, now managing a gym, like 8-9 stone lighter than what he was. Like he's my best man at my wedding. Like it's incredible what coaching can do when you get it right and when you find the right coach.
You are 100% right, and I say to everybody that comes through the door, coaching is this price, right? It's up to you how. I will always try and make it as valuable as possible, right? That's a given. So will you. That's a given. As a client, if you see it as an opportunity to see how much value you can really get out of the process, and you focus on who you can become, what you can get out of the coach, what skills you can develop from a physical skill acquisition point of view and a mental skill acquisition point of view, and that's not being what's the word I'm looking for? That's not saying that people don't have those mental skills and that we're the be all and end all and whatever else, because that's not the case. But like, there is no doubt that good coaching, and you leaning into the coaching process can be an ultimate cheat code for life. And I hope there is people watching this who will comment underneath to say that is 100% true, because I've done that with coaches that I've worked with. My first ever coach in 2013, Nick Walsh. Mate, if I rang Nick now and said, I'm coming down to London, he'd say, be there in 30 minutes. Even if we haven't spoken for years. Right? Because I leaned into that process and I got the best out of Nick as a human being before I got the best out of him as a coach. Right? And it's so easy for us to sit here and say it's a cheat code because we've lived the experience, right? And we get to see other people live the experience. But like, if you're sitting on the fence about coaching and you're listening to this, not just because we own coaching businesses, and it doesn't even have to be with me or Tom, get coached, because it is fucking brilliant, isn't it? It's the best thing ever.
Finding the right coach is important. Like I've had coaches before you that it just didn't really work, because you get sent a training PDF, you get sent your calories, check-ins next Monday, and you've fuck all from them all week.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And people need that accountability and structure through the week. And then like with yourself, like I think I first inquired you before COVID.
We chatted
About
multiple times
one of your 12-week
Instagram.
transformation camps.
Yeah.
And it was like, before COVID, and I was like, how much is it, mate? And then you told me the price, and I was like, okay, nice, I'll get back to you. And then you had your clothing brand as well, but you were doing like branding, and I remember getting the Train to Gain logo on one of your jackets.
That's right, yeah, you got your uniform, didn't you?
The jacket and the pants. And
little did I know when I was printing that uniform up for you that we were going to rip that apart a few years later.
By the time you think, what a fucking shit logo. But then, then we did actually finally get to work with you, and we had that initial call, and we started working. It was like, like I said to you, and you put this on your story the other day, that message where I said life changing, and you went, you're flying. I went, but it all started working with you. Like that was the building blocks to the person and the athlete and the business owner that I am now. Because obviously we did the physique coaching and that, but we also did the business mentorship, and my business is at where it's at now as well. Obviously a lot of hard work in years, but the initial part came working with yourself and rebranding the Train to Gain to the Huma Performance Academy.
It was rebranding you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's literally
rebranded you.
Because like I said, Train to Gain had no identity. I was window cleaning with my brother. Got back from Australia, started window cleaning with my brother in lockdown because there's no other jobs, and we could still work as like outdoor people. And I sat in there and we're like, well, I'm moving to Chester, end of lockdown. And I was like, what should I call my PT business? And he went, we were firing all these different. He went, Train to Gain. And I went, yeah, that rhymes. That sounds good. May as well called it T Adams Fitness. Do you know what I mean? His window cleaning business is called T Adams Window Cleaning. I should have gone T Adams Fitness or something. But it just had no identity. And then like that transformation, I went with you, not physically but mentally. And I was like, then it was like the Human Performance Academy, like I ran through before. Just made sense. Yeah. And it's like the core pillars and everything that we've built in and around it is much happier to like. I wake up every day, mate, living my dream. You know. We talk about success and happiness. And like I'm not exactly minted. Do you know what I mean? I'm not world famous. But I wake up every day like so happy and so grateful for everything that I've got and the life that I get to live. I live it on my terms, my way. And
that's what I was going to ask you. You've obviously, we've spoken obviously before we sat down. We've spoken. We've spoken about this in the past on a personal level and on a business level. I'm kind of like, I'm always thinking about that, and I ask every guest that comes on what their thoughts are on the relationship between success and happiness, and I never want either side of that argument to be dumbed down in favor of the other. Because just like we said about the physique, it's
the byproduct.
It's totally okay for you to want a better physique, and we're in an industry at the moment where people are like being told they've got bad relationships with food when they haven't. They're just poorly educated, and like they're being told like, well, your self-worth isn't based off of how you look, and that is true, but it's not like it's stopping people from wanting more for themselves, right? And like having better personal standards and educating themselves further and coming through those obstacles and actually getting the results they want, but getting the results that they want in the right way. So like, what is your relationship at the moment with success, with the balance of success and happiness?
I personally think that you don't need success to be happy. One thing that I got through therapy as well as working with yourself was just like that self-awareness piece and building that awareness around what you're actually happy for and what you're grateful for, like the 3 things to be grateful for every single week and stuff like that. Some people see it as cringy, but then when you go back to the aspect of to be coached, you've got to be willing to be coached.
Do you ask people that on your weekly check-ins?
I used to, I did take it out after like I become a little bit more performance focused.
Okay.
But yeah, I did used to, but then I did get some at the time because the people I had in the business were wrong. I did used to get pushback on it. Like after a couple of weeks, they just run out of things. Well,
I was just about to say, so I had a conversation with a client this week, and I said this on Nate's podcast as well. I say to him, like, I always call people out on it. Me, I say, who do you think you are?
Yeah, like you actually called me out. I think one. Or I think I asked you 1 week about it.
And I bet you that my answer was this: you're trying too hard to think of big things.
Yeah.
Like we live on the fucking world.
I'm grateful for that Ferrari I've got on the drive. Like,
I'm grateful for the hot running water in my house.
Full belly when I go to bed. The ability to train. The ability to go for a run. You know what I mean?
And people laugh.
People would kill for it.
People laugh and people cringe out at it. But like, I push. I don't care who you are. You might come into this business, right? And you might be, I don't know, fucking Andrew Tate, whatever, one of his followers, right? Where it's all about masculinity and not showing cracks and this, that, and the other. If you don't give me 3 gratitude points a week, I am going to roast you.
Yeah.
Because nobody is too cool for gratitude, and everybody should be challenged on their. Well, I don't know what to put. Well, who are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? What are the little things in life that make you tick? Because if you're constantly focusing on all the other stuff, you will never, ever be happy.
It is just that self. People just, like I say, people are doing things, but they're almost in like automatic pilot. They haven't got that awareness. They're not. Oh, that was really cool. That was. You know what I mean? Like that conversation I had with, I don't know, one of your mates. They forget about it, and that comes down to when you go back to success and happiness, like having that ability and self-awareness around gratitude. That defines your success, because we're not talking when you ask that question, you're not saying success by money in the bank or followers on Instagram or the house that I live in. You're talking about, what does success mean to me? And like, I think to be happy, you don't need to be successful. You just need to be like aware of what you've got in your life and be grateful for it.
And then
weirdly, your success comes off the back of that.
Correct. And like the abundance mindset, it comes from that as well, right? Like
if you're happy, healthy.
Same with the physique. We that's what I was saying at the start. We got to your physique that you were dreaming of for years, and then enabled to push you into performance based and stuff like that. By like focusing on the stuff that you could do right there and then to do more of it, to progress further and to actually get to that goal rather than thinking too much about the goal, right? Got a quote for you from one of the lads I met in Dubai called Collie, and he's like, he does a gratitude journal every morning, and I think he's something like 1,200 or 1,300 straight days of gratitude. Right, nice. So like ridiculous.
I bet he's not unhappy. Do you know what I mean? I bet he's happy.
He's very happy. Trust me. I mean? The stuff that he, but it's all little things. But because of the little things, he's got the big things. And his mum, I saw on his story the other day. His mum sent him. He's from Ireland. He lives in Dubai. His mum sent him, like his vision journal from like 5 years ago when he was living at home. And it was like, I'm going to be driving to this gym in this car, coming from my apartment in this area of Dubai, and this, and this. And every day he says, grateful for family, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful. And he lists all the things, the little things that you're grateful for. Mate, he's got absolutely everything on that vision list. So I'm going to give you a quote that I've used this. I've put this into my check-in. It's interesting to me that you've took this out of your check-in, because one of the things I like to do, no matter how performance-based I get with people, no matter the level of the athlete that I work with, and some of them are ridiculous, just like you, I try and ground them and be like, I don't care how far you're going. We're always doing some of the basics of this, right? No amount of regret changes the past. No amount of anxiety changes the future, but any amount of gratitude changes the present. So no matter what is going on in that moment, and that's why I start check-ins with it, because it changes that moment. Some people come on to check-ins like you would have and skipped it, and then fill the check-in in a mood with a grey cloud over you. But if you do that at the top,
back to that,
if you go
the
back,
last thing I filled in.
Would it?
Yeah, or I'd put one and I'd be like, I'll come back to that. You can't think of anything to it.
20
minutes has gone by.
For me, I'm getting people to do it so that they don't skip the simple stuff. So that they go into the check-in with a mindset of like, I am lucky. I'm happy. And they give you better information because of that. When people say, I've got nothing this week, I'm like, what do you mean you've got nothing this week? You do not live in a mud hut.
No.
Right? And if you did live in a mud hut, and you'd probably be smiling and playing stupid games with your brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way it works. And like you said, you don't need a lot to be happy. And I think we see massive examples of that, right? But I love that quote. No amount of regret changes the past. No amount of anxiety changes the future. But any amount of gratitude changes the present. So there you go.
Yeah, it almost goes back to what we were saying earlier about you're only as good as your next decision. Like, everything happens. Like things will happen. But like you said about anxiety and like people worry, and I get a lot of people like who will worry about certain things. It's like, just relax, focus on today, focus on what you've got to do today. We'll worry about tomorrow. Do
you remember the quote? Remember the coaching one?
What's that?
Remove the emotion, find the solution.
Yeah. It's almost like don't think problems, think solutions, isn't it? It's the same kind of thing, and it's because people. That's what we're here for as coaches, though. At the same time, like because people need coaching. It's not just the training and nutrition, it is the mindset. And it's like what I do, and I know you do this really well as well. It's like structure and control. Like you used to say,
I'll do the
I'll
thinking,
do the
you do the
thinking, you
doing.
do the doing. And like I mean I've stolen that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I say because a lot of what I've built from what is like how I've like how you coached me is now how I've almost kind of evolved into this person I am now. But it's like me now evolving these people with obviously what I do in the HPA, and it's like just take all that stress away for people.
Yeah.
Like because like I said, support, accountability, and structure. And if you can give people those three things, and they obviously follow the plan, then they'll just blossom.
Yeah,
And they'll keep evolving.
yeah,
And
definitely.
like as soon as you hit that one goal, okay, what's the next goal?
I'm
Like,
sitting here thinking of clients,
yeah,
and I'm like, who I've got on at the minute, who are like, thinking of one guy. I mean, there's loads. There's absolutely loads. I'm thinking of one guy who came in with big goals, and he just couldn't see the vision. And giving him that platform to blossom and be himself and do things well, and show himself that he can use his high performance behaviors that he uses in his professional life and all that, or in his family life and all that, that he can use it for himself.
yeah,
In this environment, he can have super high standards, and you want to see him. It's an
Yeah.
all timer, and we've got till July.
nice.
He's on till the end of July,
Yeah.
31st of July. He finishes. So I mean, what are we now? We are
For March, yeah,
Wednesday,
March
the 18th of March.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be one of those head turners where he doesn't even recognize himself. But again, like for you, it's an identity thing.
Yeah,
Like all of a
it's like,
sudden,
it
he's
might
the
look
guy.
amazing, but I think what people won't see, because you don't see this in the transformation pictures, is the identity change, is the
Yeah, yeah.
mindset flip.
Yeah, yeah.
And if people followed my journey from November 24, was it? November 2024 to where I am now in like March 2026, almost, well, a year and a half on, they would have seen that, yeah, I've transformed my physique in those 6 months of working with you, but I've gone on to more and more and more.
That was
and
the
just
gateway.
constantly evolved. Yeah,
That was
like
just
I
the
say,
gateway.
like you say, oh, you're absolutely flying. I'm saying, yeah, but the building blocks came from working with yourself, and I've just carried on stacking bricks on that. And like the hybrid evolution program that I coach is about that. It's like, well, we've evolved into this, but we don't stop here. We go for the next one and the next one. There is no limiting beliefs in the HPA. Like I want everyone to come in. They'll be scared of goals, but if, like I said in that post you read out earlier, like if your goals don't scare you, then they won't change you. Do you know what I mean? So it's about believing in yourself, and as a coach, we want to install that belief into people, and show them that hard work always pays off.
Definitely.
Always pays off.
I think one thing I want to finish on is that if anybody is looking for a coach, look for somebody who people think, oh, people just become PTs and they write training programs down or nutrition plans and they give them to people and they say, hey, have you done that this week and whatever else. But there is people out there like Tom who have thought long and hard about who they are and what their service is, and even like what you're talking about there, the hybrid evolution program, and the reason why we have it as the evolution and what we spoke about. You were saying, well, I want to help people at the start of their journey and I want to help people who are high level athletes. And I said, well, you can help them all, but you need to know how you do that. So we developed a structure, a culture, and an understanding at your level, which that's where the evolution came in. The point I'm trying to make is like, there is people out there, there is coaches out there who have a genuine deep understanding of what it is that they actually do, and they are providing a level at which, like, mate, you'll still see people every Christmas when you go in the pub who still think you haven't got a real job. I do. Do you know what I mean? I'm 15 years into coaching. I still have to convince people.
I get people say you don't even have a job. Those who they disqualify my job as a job, but
and it's like
one of the best jobs you can have.
Yeah, it's like you don't realize how, because of the nature of how some people coach or not even coach at all, you get people just think that there isn't people out there that have actually built an ethos and an understanding and a level of control that you have in your business. And if you're looking for a coach, you should be looking for people who are living their story, right? You should be looking for people who are living those core values, those principles, and because they are out there. Like my business has a story. Maybe I'll go through it one day on here, but like I gave you my example. Like my business has a story, a TOA, translates to something in English, that means that was a massive part of my journey, and it was a moment in my life and a day that changed the way I think about coaching forever. And that's why the business is called that. And there's pillars and there's culture and there's an understanding. And the reason why, you know, you said to me when you first come on about like how we build a business with X amount of clients, and you know, ultimately getting the not just the personal feeling rewards from that, but the financial rewards as well.
Yeah.
And it's because that's important, by the way. Like
Of course it
we
is,
shouldn't
yeah.
we shouldn't avoid that. It's totally important. And I'm like, you need to before you start thinking about making sales, you need to be so comfortable and you need to be so passionate about what it is that you do that you won't even need to make sales,
No.
because they will just, the people will come to you,
And
and
the referrals as well. Like
That's
word of
exactly
mouth
it.
is the biggest seller, and
Yeah.
because like I'm saying, like I've created a business that attracts the right people now.
Yeah.
Like I say, you hire a mentor, you could work on funnels, you could bring in 15 calls, but do they align with you as a person?
No.
Are they who you want to coach really, or are they just a dollar sign to you? Like everyone in the
Yeah.
HPA to me means something, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I want to win, but I want them to win just as bad. And like I've got a community full of like-minded winners, you know, and
Yeah.
even and like we talk about, you said there about the spectrum as well in terms of how good of an athlete they can be. I've got people that are training for
Doesn't
their
matter,
first
does it?
high rocks, first 10K, never ran a
Yeah.
10K in their life, first half marathon, first marathons. And I've got clients who have ran 4, 5, 6 marathons who have done 7, 8 races in high rocks. Like, doesn't matter. You just meet everyone where they're at.
Yeah.
The
It's about
starting
who
point,
they are and where they want to be, isn't
meet
it?
them where they're at, take them to here. But everyone's journey is different, and that's
Yeah.
obviously again proper coaching, because you
yeah.
treat every single client with what they need, and it's not just a copy and paste for it. It's every single person.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
when you talk about pillars and stuff, it's like the 4 main things that I work with people in the HPA. It's like training, nutrition, recovery, mindset. But all 4 of them have got to intertwine, because if one of them's down, like mindset, you said this to me ages ago. Like if your head's not in it, if this isn't in the right place, you're never gonna do it. Like you've got to have the right mindset. Then your training with your structure, your intensity, the volume, the frequency, the nutrition. As I said to you before, like you can't outtrain a bad diet. There's that quote, but I believe in you can't outtrain an underfueled diet. And within hybrid performance and all this running and lifting and cycling and swimming, people aren't getting enough calories in them. They're not getting enough food because they're chasing performance, but they're so preoccupied about the aesthetics.
Yeah.
But you've got to focus on performance, fuel the body right, let the aesthetics be the byproduct. And the recovery aspect is where we look at the sleep, the dirty work, the mobility, the stretching. Training obviously comes into that. But it's intertwined in all 4 of those blocks. And those are the pillars that bring out the best in our athletes in the HPA. And it's important to get all those ducks in a row, you know, and that's what constantly, when we talk about that evolution of constantly, like retention's high. Our clients stay for 6, 12, 18 months. I've got some clients been with me for 3 years, ever since I've launched the HPA, you know, and that's purely because they believe in it as well. And like I say, they are everything we preach.
That's it.
Yeah.
Class. Mate, you're a superstar. What I want to do is I want to come back for a second pod, and we will talk about the actual specifics of training recovery, because the level that you're performing at the moment is a joke. And I want to delve into that in a separate pod, because I think it'll be another hour. So yeah,
man.
nice one. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
Good man. Cheers, buddy.